Hello guys, so today we're going to be looking at the kind of things that you would find in the junk drawer in your home, whether that be in your kitchen, your bedroom or in your attic. It's all sort of like electronic-y type stuff, things that potentially you used back in the day but now you've got no use for and have just been thrown into a drawer. So we've got 15 items here that have sold on eBay, and I suggest after watching this that you go and do your own searches. So search into eBay, go to advanced settings, look at sold listings based on the sorts of things that you've got lying around. People always want that extra couple of £100, whether it's to buy Christmas presents or to start a business or anything like that. And honestly, this is an opportune thing to do. Find old stuff in your house that's sitting around that you're not going to use and sell it on eBay. So we're starting, and this is the most expensive item on the list. It is a Hewlett Packard HP 48GX graphics calculator and case. These are in production, this specific model, from 1993 to 2003. It's obviously to do with graphics. Don't ask me, I don't know. But it does have an expandable memory, so obviously it's a pretty high-tech thing. But it's, as you can see, and these are sold items. These aren't items that are just for sale. And this one sold for just under £200, free postage. So if we just look along the pictures here, these are the ones that have sold. This is the one that's sold. These are the pictures of it. So you can see here, these are little software cards. There's a picture of it in working order. So it's sold for £200. Obviously, you probably want to post it insured, so that might be, an extra £5. You then obviously are going to have a look at the eBay fees and the PayPal fees that come off. But effectively, you're probably looking at, at least £160, £170 in your pocket after fees and postage. And for something, if you've got one of these just lying around, these might be more of a rare thing, but that's pretty good. So now we're going to move on to a normal calculator. This one has been in production for the last sort of 10 years, this specific one, but you can still get it. If we just have a look at the pictures here, so we're going to zoom in, the condition isn't amazing. As you can see, it's kind of there's lots of bits on it, so it's not clean, but also there are marks on here, on the top and on the side. It does have its case. If we look at the secondary image here, again, a couple of marks on there, so it's not perfect condition, but it's not awful. It is in working order. So this one sold with postage included for just under £10. You're probably only going to get sort of £5 or £6 after postage and fees. But again, if you've got a kid or, you are someone who's, just left school and you're never going to use it again, you might as well get rid of it. You can download, because, these calculators are used in the classroom and exams. If you've got a mobile phone, you can download certain calculator apps on that. You can get emulators. Certainly for the first one we looked at, if I just skip back, you can get emulators for this on app stores. So, just it's £5 in your pocket, and the longer it sits in your drawer, the more likely the battery's going to fail. So it's definitely worth selling, in my opinion. So move on to the next thing. So moving away from calculators now and looking at voice memos, so dictaphones. So this one here, I couldn't find too much information in terms of year of manufacture or anything, but it's definitely 2010 or before. I would suggest it's probably before, but the information when I looked just wasn't there. But this sold for £33. That's with postage included. So after fees and postage, you're probably looking at £25 to £27 in your pocket. So if we just have a look there, it's just an Olympus Pearl Corda S711, and it's got a little tape with it. If we just cycle through the images, it's just standard, nice, clean battery compartment there, no acid leak or anything like that. So there you go. If you've got something like this, because everyone went for a stage of watching crime dramas and watching people record their little voice notes, and probably got one of these thinking it'd be useful in their personal life or business life. I think probably 90% of people that got them probably use them once and never listened back. But if you can sell it for £30 plus postage, you're in a good place with that. So next one, we've got another dictaphone, and this is a Philips Classic. It's a pocket memo dictaphone, supposedly in superb condition. So if we just have a look at the picture there, some of the writing has worn, but again, it includes a tape. So, and actually I've just looked at my notes, sorry, that last one that we looked at, That's actually 2003, sorry, the Olympus, or 2003-ish. I couldn't find the exact year. This is the one, sorry, that I found to be sort of 2010 or before, but I can imagine it's probably quite a bit before 2010. That's just the only information I could find. But then if we look at the images here again, decent condition. It's quite dusty on the inside there. You might have given that a wipe, but I suppose it doesn't really matter. And as we just keep going along, you can see decent condition, £88 free postage. So, probably looking at £75 roughly in terms of money, after fees and postage. So, £75 could make quite a difference to your life. And if you've just got one of these lying around that you bought years ago, sell it. Why not? You might as well just sell it. So next one, so we're going away from dictaphones now and toward MP3 players. So this is a Creative MP3 player, really good brand. I used to buy them myself. Only sold for $9.99, so you're looking at about £5 after postage. But the amazing thing about this is that it's 128 megabytes. So I don't quite know, how many songs that can fit on there. But bear in mind, iPod Nanos, iPod Touches, whatever other, thing that people used to store there and listen to their music now, normally have sort of at least 64 gigabytes of storage, probably more. And obviously most people listen to them on their phones, and these days it's not rare to have at least 256 megabytes of storage. So when you're looking at it, that is nothing, 128 megabytes, when you're looking at 256 gigabytes these days for some. So here's some pictures of it in working order. Again, a little bit dusty, might have cleaned that up. But you've got one AAA battery there, so it's a really basic one. It's got a microphone on it, so if you wanted to use it as a dictaphone, you could. But again, so if you just got little bits and bobs like this lying around, £5 in your pocket, not a life-changing amount of money, but it's all right. So moving on to sort of the more well-known Apple iPod Nano, which is basically an MP3 player, but it's just specifically an Apple one. In terms of this one then, so it's first generation iPod Nano, 2 gigabytes, so, much, much more memory than the one we just looked at, but nothing special really. 2 gigabytes won't store that many songs. So it's sold for £50 plus £4 postage, so again, probably £40, between 40 and 45 after fees. It probably posted for although it says £4 there, you could probably post this for £2, even signed for with Royal Mail. So yeah, there you go. So £54 before postage and fees, and these things, I'm sure a lot of people have one of these old ones just sat in a drawer somewhere. So on to the next one. Okay, so now we're looking at some vintage retro Sony in-ear earphones. So these are quite unique in the sense they go around the back of your head and the earphones then go in your ears. These sort of 2003-ish, and again, these are sold. They're used, so someone's had them in their ears and someone still wanted to buy them off them, and they sold for £25.20 free delivery. Probably cost £3 for delivery, but when you consider then that just a few pound more in fees, you're probably looking sort of £17-18 after fees and postage. And for something just sat in your drawer that you maybe use a couple of times in the early 2000s, again, get them on eBay. And the next one, so these are just some normal earphones that probably just came with an MP3 player. So they're Sony, and again, as we can see, they are listed as used. £9.99 plus £2.95 postage, so you're looking at that's pretty much £13. Probably able to post these for, again, £2 signed for, even though they've charged £3 postage on there. So you're probably looking at, £7 or £8 after fees there, maybe even, £9, again, just for some, old earphones. So again, if you've got some of them lying around in your drawer, get them on eBay. So next we are going to look at some phones. So this is just a standard Apple iPhone 4, 16 gigabyte. As we were talking about memory storage, 16 gigabyte is a lot more than the 128 megabytes we were looking at, but bear in mind, this phone's going to have apps on it, it's going to have photos, videos, that kind of thing. So again, 16 gigabytes won't get you too far. And obviously with it being an iPhone, you don't get the expandable memory. Sold for £20, free postage. So let's say even if postage was £3, you're probably going to be looking at roughly between £13 and £15 after fees. I'm only picking these things up roughly because sometimes eBay have deals on with fees, but that's pretty good for an old phone that you're probably never going to use, because realistically, if your phone breaks, you're probably going to buy a new one rather than go back to an iPhone 4 that's probably not that great. So honestly, just get it on eBay. The next one we're looking at is a retro Nokia 6130 NK702 mobile phone. So sold for £12 used, and it's got no battery. If we look at the images there, so it looks in pretty good condition from the front, bar a couple of marks. As you can see, it's on orange, which don't exist anymore, but the description does say unlocked, so they probably paid years ago to have that unlocked. There's no backing on it, there's no battery, and it's sold for £12. So after postage and fees, you're probably looking at £6 or £7 for this phone. Again, a lot of people probably have one of these in their drawers, so £7 in your pocket is much better than the phone sitting in the drawer. So there you go. Now we're going to look at some blank media, so cassettes, that kind of thing. So this one, I think it's the only auction of the list that I made. It went for £8. Now I don't know exactly what you store on these types of cassettes. They're a bit before my time. They're a mini cassette. I believe it is music for a mini cassette player, but I'm just not 100%. But anyway, that's sold for £8, free postage. I can't see how thick this package, the cassette is, but if it's sold for £8 and you're able to post it, for say £1.50, £2, you're probably looking at £4 or £5 after fees. If it did cost £3 to post, probably looking at £3. But bear in mind, a lot of the time with auctions, you could probably achieve more at Buy It Now. So even though it was an £8 sale at an auction, that probably could have sold at £10, £12 Buy It Now. And this, as you can see, is actually used. It already has data on it, so it's not even a blank media tape. So, if you've got a blank one of these, you could probably ask for double or even more than that. Now, bear in mind, if you've got 4 or 5 of these and you sell them all together, the sky's your limit with what you can actually achieve from this, but they're definitely worth it. Any blank media tapes, just find out what you've got, have a look on eBay. If they're not blank, they might not be worth anything, but in this case, this one was, so just have a look at the sold items on eBay. So going on from there, we've just got a standard VHS tape. Now this is a 4-hour VHS tape, so 240 minutes, and it's called a Mega Power tape. So, and it's from Max, also a very sort of well-known VHS tape distributor. So it's sold for $7.95. As you can see from the pictures, it is brand new. It's got the seal on it there. So if it's sold for $7.95 and you posted that, you are only going to get about £3 after postage. But again, if it's just laying there, if you're never going to do anything with it, it's worth it. And of course, if you've got 2 or 3 of them lying around, then you can just, triple the amount you get there, but pay less postage, because ultimately the postage is going to cost the same for one as it is for free. So moving on then, we've got a Goodman's CDMP3 player. This sold for £15.95. I don't know exactly when this was made, but you can kind of just see it is quite old, both in the design and just the fact that it's got that wear on it. So again, a lot of you guys probably had one of these if you're in your 20s, maybe early 30s. Probably had one of these when you were a kid or a teenager. Probably got it sat in a drawer somewhere or in your mom's attic. £16 sold for. Obviously, you would have had £3 of fees come out of this, and then £3 of postage, and then probably a further sort of £3 or £4 in fees. So if we're looking at that, you're probably looking at roughly sort of between £8 and £10 after fees and postage for something that, again, you're probably not going to use. So if I had one of those, it'd be going straight on eBay. Okay, so we're going to move on to something a little bit different here. So we have got some Parker pens, and the next listing is also something a bit different. It's not an electronic. So these sold for £60. So Parker Sonnet green fountain and ball pen set. As you can see, they're used. If we load up the second picture, you can actually see there's just a slight bit of ink marking on the nib there for the fountain pen. So really, with a fountain pen, you're not supposed to let other people use it because it will damage the because when you write, it merges to your way of writing. So if someone's going to buy the second hand, they're going to have to sort of almost like retrain it. So the fact that these two sold for £60, I have no idea what they would have been new. But if someone, let's say for example you're in your 30s now, and you left school when you were 18, or you graduated university when you were 21, and someone got you these as a gift, they may have some sentimental value. So it's up to you whether you sell them or not. But let's say for example they were just brought by some auntie that you never see. Why not sell them on eBay if you don't use them? So these sold for £63. Obviously that's with postage, so the postage would come off that, and fees I'm going to say would be roughly about £10 potentially. So £50 after postage and fees for these, you really can't moan at that. So that is the Parker pen set. And on to our last listing. So this is an antique. It is hallmark silver and carved mother of pearl letter opener, and it's got some hallmarks on it, as we can see there, and it's made in Sheffield, or from that sort of area, and it's 1915. So this sold for £24.50 plus £2.50 postage. So you're kind of looking probably after fees and everything at, say, roughly £18 to £20. Again, someone may just have one of these laying around because it was passed down from the family. You might not even know who it was passed down from, but you've just kept it because of the sentimental value. Well, if we just look at the pictures there, it's not even in the best condition, which you wouldn't necessarily expect an antique to be. But it is just a standard letter opener. So obviously you do have to be careful with what you sell on eBay in terms of with letter openers. If they've actually got a sharp edge, it might be considered a knife and might get you in trouble. So, look into that before you do anything. But if you've got any sort of antique little bits and bobs lying around in a junk drawer, it's worth just having a look there. So that is the end of this list. So that's 15 things that you may find in your junk drawer. Obviously, it's not 15 separate items, but it's just 15 things that I've picked up that are sold. So now's the chance for you to rifle through your junk drawers, any old electronics, any old pens, any sort of antique looking things. Go onto eBay, search for them, go into the advanced settings, have a look at sold, and see what they sell for. As I said, this channel there's a lot about like saving money, making money, that kind of thing. You've probably got people who are looking to get into selling on eBay. This is a perfect place to start because you can just find your own stuff and sell it, make a little bit of money, and then if you put that towards buying new stock, if you put that towards opening an Amazon store, doing fulfilled by Amazon, put it towards learning a new qualification, whatever it is, it's better to be able to do that and move forward than it is just to have all this old junk sat in a drawer. I have a second generation iPad Nano, which is just on my side, which is worth £15, which I'm going to get charged up and sell on eBay later on, and it'd be good for you guys to do the same thing with your stuff. So if you could comment sort of what you found, put it in the obviously the comment box, that would be greatly appreciated. We'll have a chat about that. If you could like the video and subscribe to the channel, that would also be great. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.